Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Current Affairs series. Today we will discuss about 16th July current affairs. Myself Sunny Sandhi. Welcome to my channel Gear Up for Group 1 exam. Before going to our discussion, I want to discuss with you or I want to tell the importance of current affairs. Everyone is thinking that I will read the current affairs last 6 months before one exam of 1 or 2 months. I will read everything all 6 months back current affairs. I will read it within a 1 or 2 months. In a 1 or 2 months. Everyone, most of the, even me also thinking like that when I before crack the bank exam. But in reality it differs. Why? Because every day we have to read the current affairs. Then only we will remember, and then only we will connect the all dots related to all concepts or all subjects. Say suppose one person is thinking that I will read the geography part, I will read the history subject, I will read the polity, I will read the economy first, I will clear the all concepts, I will read the all subjects, after that I will go to the daily current affairs. Like that one person is thinking that, say suppose one person. But my suggestion is, yes, we have to complete subjects also, but my suggestion and my point of strategy is first concentrate on current affairs. Current affairs means it's not a subject, it's a mixture of all that subjects. It's not a separate subject. Current affairs means it includes polity concepts, it includes geography thing, it includes economy thing, it includes history also. That's why we have to give more importance to the current affairs. I will give one example. Say suppose in current affairs, relations between India and China. That concept is related to international relations. That means we don't need to study apart from this daily current affairs, that are current affairs. That means I will study the first international relations, like relations between India and China, relations between India and European Union, and relations between India and US. Yes, at that time you will remember. When you are reading, at that time you will definitely remember. At any time I ask means you will reply within a one hour, within a seconds also. But it's not about the case. We have to read the current affairs daily basis only. Then only we will remember. Then only we apply those current affairs in our subjects also. Here I am not telling don't read subjects, but first read the current affairs. According to that, we have to read the subject also. Sometimes we will get polity related concepts, sometimes we will get some history related also. That is my strategy. If you observe any key points in my strategy, please follow it. Why? Because we have less time, that means 1 year only. We have to read, or we have to understand the so many vast subjects like history, polity, economy. That means we have to, or we find the easier or a smarter way in a preparation of competitive exams. Then only we will clear any competitive exam. Competitive exam requires smarter way in a short time. That means hard work also is there, but we have to do smart work in a smarter way or in a short span of time. Okay, let's get into the current affairs. Indigenous vaccine for pneumonia gets nod. First of all, in India is facing that pneumonia cases are more. For that, Serum Institute of India was developed a vaccine for pneumonia. Who given permission? That is, the permission is given by Drug Controller General of India, that is DCGA. For any vaccine, there are 3 trials or there are 3 phases are required to done in that vaccine. That means DGC approved to conduct phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials of pneumococcal polysaccharide conjugate vaccine. For any vaccine in this COVID-19 vaccine also requires some phased that means phased clinical trials. That means in a phase 1 we will attempt or we will test some parts, that means one age group. In second part we will test some animals also. In third part we will test in a, or we will check in a below 10 years age, after some 60 years age. That means vaccine has to get successfully have to clear all these stages. That's why vaccine requires some time. That means if I have taken that vaccine to my body, that can cure that disease permanently. That means that is called vaccine. That's why it will take some time. For COVID-19 also it will take some time. We hope the best for vaccine for COVID-19 situation. For in this meanwhile we have to do that, please wear the mask and please stay at home. If any necessity or any emergency only we have to go outside. Here what this vaccine will do, used for active immunization against invasive disease and pneumonia. Next one, India should believe in the EU. EU means it's a group of some countries. European Union. Last year we have seen that UK is exited from that European Union. That means we will call it as popularly known it as a Brexit, Britain exit. Here, first of all, why India should believe in the EU? That means why India should believe in the EU, that is European Union. First of all, we have to see the relations between neighboring countries of India. If you see that neighboring countries are like Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Apart from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, India has some tensions between Pakistan also, Nepal also. Last month we have seen that regarding the Nembiyadura Lipu Lake, and now in China also we have the line of actual control. In this situation, India should invest where neighboring countries have some tensions. That's why India now it's the time to believe the EU. That means European Union. Why we have to believe? Are any common points? Are any similar points between these two countries? First of all, say suppose I am a one person. I want to friend with another person. That means I will check what are the similarities between me and that person. That person. Then only I will make a friendship with him. That in this situation, India should have the similarities and some similar points between European Union. That means first of all we will see what are the similarities between India and European Union. Both aim to enhance strategic autonomy and their global standing. Here these both countries are enhancing their strategic autonomy and their global standing. Here the most important thing between India and EU is both are trying to address the climate change. That's why their target is to become the carbon neutral economies by 2050. Here, if you see in a economic perspective or economic terms, UE is the India's first trading partner and biggest foreign investor. That means almost 22% of the FDIs inflows in 2018. Here we have to see that EU is put 22% of FDI in India. At the same time, European Union also put investment in China almost 167.7 billion euros in China. If you see in India, that is only restricted to 67.7. In this situation, we have to grab that EU to our side. That's why China is moving towards Iran. In this situation, if you go up with European Union, we will get some foreign trade investment or FDI, foreign direct investment. Some investments will come and that our economy will increase, and at the same time jobs also created. Here there is some lagging point between India and European Union. What is that? Free trade agreement. For any two countries there should be a free trade agreement. That means, say suppose I have some products I want to export to another country. Say suppose two countries, India and EU. India want to export to UA, but European Union is putting some restrictions on Indian products. That means India cannot export to the EU. In the same situation, vice versa. EU wants to export to some goods or products to India, but India is putting some restrictions on European goods. That means there is no free trade agreement. That's why if any countries or any two countries want to exploit globally, they have to have more MOUs. That means memorandum of understanding. That is free trade agreement. Here finally how we conclude that between these two countries, that means facilitating people's mobility and connectivity is a good way to improve the mutual understanding. Next one, India's population may peak by 2047. Here population is the very important concept. Up to now 2011 census has happened. For that, up to that 131 crores is India's population. If you see that at the current rate of growth, India's population is likely to peak by 2047 at about 1.61 billion. That means 167 crores, and then decline to 1.03 billion by 2000. That means by the end of this century, 2100, that will maybe less than 1 billion also. Why? Because it has to meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Targets or Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals are there. If we see that United Nations Development Program calculation in 2019, that means India's population may grow more than that 1.61 billion. Here for a population there is a one characteristics is there, that is TFR, total fertility rate. All females have 16 years of education and 95% of females have access to contraception. The global TFR was projected to converge between 1.35 to 1.47. Here if you see that by the 2047 or 2100, by the end of the century, there are 5 largest countries. Here you will surprised to see that Nigeria is in the second place after India. Why? Because Nigeria is Nigeria's population was only 19 crores only, but at the end of this century Nigeria will be the second most populous country in the world. The 5 largest countries in 2100 are projected to be India, Nigeria, after China. Now China is the most populous country. After that USA have now 32 crore population. After that Pakistan will have. These are the 5 largest countries projected in 2100. Next one, US government resents restrictive rule on international students. Last month we have seen that US government or Trump government has put some restrictive rules on visas. That means who are studying or who are working or who are studying in a United States of America, they have to depart to their native places or native countries. Like suppose one student is studying in USA. At that time, by that rule, they has to depart within a time. That means the US government has rescinded its policy, it's revoked. That means its policy that foreign F1 and M1 visa category students taking all their process online would have to depart the country. Here when it is issued on July 6th, that means this month July 6th, by the Immigration Customs Enforcement, that is ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Now it is encountered strong opposition from voices in academia, industry and politics also. That's why US government resents restrictive rule on international students. Next one, indigenous bugs help tackle invasive pests. What are these pests? Entomologists raise hopes of fruit growers troubled by the woolly whitefly. That means enemy of the fruit growers, that is woolly whitefly. Here there are 2 types of lady bird beetles are among the 3 indigenous bugs. That means these 3 indigenous bugs will fight against that woolly whitefly. If you see that according to the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, ICAR, pests damage 30 to 35% of crops. That means more damage comes from these pests only. That's why if we see about woolly whitefly, this whitefly is a invasive and polyplogus. It is a invasive and polyphagus. Next one, in the series of previous paper analysis, we will discuss the 81st question. Consider the following statements. Agriculture soils release nitrogen oxides into the environment. That is, first point is correct. And second point is cattle release ammonia into the environment. Second point is also right. Poultry industry releases reactive nitrogen compounds in the environment. Third point is also right. Which of the following statements given above is are correct? D. 1, 2, 3 and only. With this we can conclude our video. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. Gear up for Group 1 exam. This is Sunny Sandeep signing out. Take care and bye bye.